How's it going, guys? JP here, and welcome to another MMA prediction video. As always, don't take my picks too seriously. I'm no MMA expert, nor do I claim to be. I don't have a vast knowledge of mixed martial arts, but I do like to share my opinion and talk about fights and fighters, and make my picks based on my own opinions from my limited knowledge of MMA. Um, so yeah, going into it, we're going to do two events this time. We're doing Bellator 108 and UFC 167. I do watch Bellator. I haven't been following it for a long period of time, but I do try to watch regularly now that it's moved to Spike TV. Since it's been part of the Spike TV, I've kept up watching it regularly for pretty much. I've probably only missed a few events, but when it was on MTV2, I couldn't really get into it so much because it wasn't in HD, and I just really wasn't following it. I follow it a lot more now, and I really like the stuff that they're doing over at Bellator. I actually really like the tournament format. I know a lot of people are mixed on it, but I think it's easier to follow the fighters and easier to, by the time somebody gets through a tournament, you really feel like you've, seen what they have to offer, and I like the setup. It really works for me. So last time was UFC 166. I didn't do a recap video. I just couldn't really find the time. It was a great night of fights though, and I believe I went 7-2, which was pretty good. I believe I only got the Gabriel Gonzaga fight wrong, which I was kind of mixed on, torn between the two fighters, but I did end up going with Sean Jordan. Gabriel Gonzaga won that fight, and then I lost the Jessica I fight, which she extremely impressed me. Hats off to her. Very tough chick, and that was a great fight. So yeah, my overall record is 21-9. Let's get into these picks. I already wasting too much time. For Bellator 108, the first fight, I'm gonna pick three fights. We have Patricio Pitbull versus Justin Wilcox, and Wilcox is probably going to try to wrestle with the Pitbull, and Pitbull is, pretty impressive. He's only lost to Pat Curran and Joe Warren, both great fighters, phenomenal Bellator fighters. Joe Warren has become a favorite of mine, especially in this season's tournament. He's just so entertaining to watch. I think Justin Wilcox impressed me in the quarterfinals. This is the featherweight finals, by the way. He got rocked early and he came back to win that fight via submission. But I think I'm gonna have to go with Pitbull on this one. I just don't see Wilcox really being able to, win in a scenario. He could try to grind out a decision. I don't see him winning any other way, but I think that Pitbull is just going to be too much for him, to be honest. So moving into the heavyweight finals, or the heavyweight title fight. Bellator arranges their card weird, so I never think that the title fight is the co-main event to a non-title fight. But heavyweight division, we have Alexander Volkov versus Vitaly Minakov, and these are two Russian guys. They're going to throw down. I'm just going to go with the challenger on this one. I'm going to go with Vitaly Minakov, just because really I'm more familiar with him, and I think that he can pull it off. The heavyweight division in Bellator is just not really my thing. I just can't really get into it. I don't know a lot of the fighters. None of Czech Congo's there. I guess it's a little bit better, but still, I'm not a huge Czech Congo fan anyway, so it doesn't even improve it that much. It's just, their fights are just bad sometimes, and they're hard to really get into because, some of the fighters are just so sloppy, and it's just, it has a long way to progress to become a actual credible division. So yeah, moving on to the main event, we have Quinton Rampage Jackson versus Joey the Mexicutioner Beltran. This is a light heavyweight fight. Actually, I think it might be catchweight, 210 or something. I could be wrong, but yeah, I don't think anybody's really screaming for this fight. I don't really. Rampage was supposed to fight Tito in the pay-per-view, and that whole situation is a whole nother story, but I think it worked out, and it's kind of interesting how it all played out. But this fight, I can actually see Rampage losing this fight via decision, by a grinding Joey Beltran clinching with Rampage up against the fence and stuff. I could totally see that happen. Joey Beltran is like 2 and I think he's like has 2 wins in his last 9 fights or something. It's something like that. But I mean, I did think he won his last fight, um, or at least arguably did. But I guess I just got to pick Rampage on this one because I think he's the better fighter. Honestly, I think he should be the better fighter. Um, so those are my picks for Bellator. Moving into UFC 167, we'll start on the uh, preliminary card. I'm only going to pick 2 fights on here. We got Ed Herman versus Talis Litas. Talis Litas beat Tom Watson, who I believe I picked Tom Watson in that fight. And Ed Herman recently beat somebody, and I can't really remember. But, um, you know, I think I'm going to go with Ed Herman on this one. Uh, just a gut feeling on this one. He can definitely, Talis Litas can definitely, making that UFC back in the UFC and stuff. He can definitely do it. Ed Herman is probably not going to go too much further in the advancement in his UFC career. But I'm going to go with Ed Herman on this one. Then we have lightweights, Donald Cowboy Cerrone versus Evan Dunham. Cowboy is impressive and then, not so impressive. And it sucks because I really like Cowboy and I'd like to see him succeed. I believe this is going to be his last fight at lightweight. I think he's going to go down to 245 or 145. That seems like a hard cut to me, but I'm not sure. I guess he can do it. I'm going to go with Cowboy on this one. I'm feeling Cowboy. Then we're going to go to the main card. We got Flyweights Tim Elliott versus Ali Bagautinov. I'm not sure how to say his name. I'm going to go with Tim Elliott. He beat Louis Gondonat recently. Looked pretty impressive. I think he got this one in the bag. Then we move to welterweights Josh Koscheck versus Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley's debut in the UFC was pretty impressive. He knocked out Jay Heron. I mean, be it a on the end of his rope Jay Heron in the UFC, but it was still impressive how he won. Going back to his previous fight in Strikeforce when he lost to Nate Marquardt, that was just a hell of a knockout by Marquardt. But Tyron Woodley, I just see him beating Josh Koscheck. Josh Koscheck, of course, got KO'd by Robbie Lawler in his last fight. And honestly, I think it was an early stoppage. I know he was complaining about that. And I don't think Josh Koscheck is quite done. And I do think that he can win this fight. And I think it's actually maybe likely that he will win this fight. But I'm still going to go with Tyron Woodley. After that, we have Rory McDonald and Robbie Lawler in a welterweight bout. Robbie Lawler's going to go out there. He's going to look to, take it to Rory McDonald right away. And, he's going to hunt for the knockout. He's going to try to keep it, be in Rory's face, fast-paced and shit. But I just don't see Rory McDonald is just such a technically better fighter that I don't see him falling, getting caught up or anything like that. I see him winning this fight, possibly by submission, maybe. I just hope it's not a fight like Roy's last fight against Jake Ellenberger. That fight definitely didn't deliver live up to the hype. Then we move on to light heavyweights, Rashad Evans versus Chael Sonnen. I love Chael Sonnen. I know he rubs people the wrong way and his gimmicky shit gets annoying to people. I love it. I think it's fantastic. It adds something new to the sport. And he's just so charismatic and interesting to watch. And even the people that don't like him, they still know him and they're still talking about him. And he's just such an interesting person. And a lot of what he does say when he's being serious is pretty legit. Um, Also, I really like Rashad Evans since season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter. When I was pretty much, you know, first introduced to The Ultimate Fighter, I caught the end of the first season. That's when I was pretty much first really introduced to the UFC. Was at the end of the first season, the Stephan Bonner Forrest Griffin fight, and then I watched season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter, and I kind of casually watched. The UFC from then on, very casually. I watched The Ultimate Fighter, and that was pretty much it. Um, Rashad Evans is such a favorite fighter of mine from just nostalgic reasons. Um, and that being said, I see Rashad Evans winning this fight. I really don't see Chael winning this fight in any way. I think Rashad's probably going to be stronger, faster, uh, has more power. Probably better wrestling, or you know uh, as equal, at least equal in the wrestling department. I don't see Chael Sonnen being able to really beat Rashad in really any way. I can actually see Rashad getting the knockout here. Um, so I'm gonna pick Rashad. And then we move to the welterweight fight, championship fight, George St-Pierre versus Johny Hendricks. And this one, we know what GSP is going to try to do. We know what Johny Hendricks is going to try to do. The main factor that I'm wondering about, and I think a lot of other people are wondering about, is what is Johny Hendricks' wrestling ability going to, how's it going to play into George St-Pierre's wrestling ability? Is Johny going to be able to stuff some takedowns? Is he going to be able to, I think everybody's just going to be waiting for George St-Pierre to shoot, and then we will know how the fight's gonna go after that happens. It could be a John Jones Alexander Gustafsson situation where, how Gustafsson stuffed a takedown, and everybody was like, "Whoa, very impressive." We got a fight here. If that happens, then it's gonna be kind of very, very, very interesting. I think that Johny Hendricks is going to win this fight. And I think that it's going to come by knockout, and I think that it's going to be because Johny Hendricks believes that he can win. He truly thinks that he will beat George St-Pierre. And and it's almost like this new breed of fighter where they're coming in much like Chris Weidman, and Chris Weidman knew he was going to beat Anderson Silva, and truly believed in himself, and had no doubt in himself. I see that in Johny Hendricks too. And I think a lot of fighters who fought Anderson Silva and George St-Pierre didn't truly believe that they was going to win from the beginning. I think a lot of them beat themselves before they got in the octagon. And I think this is Johny Hendricks' time. I think he can do it. I think a lot of other people do too. I think this is the closest fight George has had in a long time. And George St-Pierre is such an awesome dude, and just a great champion all around. And I would be sad to see him lose his belt. I would like to see him retire as champion, as pound for pound best / second best ever. But I think Johny Hendricks is going to win this one. So I hope I didn't offend you Canadian friends out there. I know how much you guys love George. So yeah, that's my picks, guys. Like I said, don't take these too seriously. These are just my opinions that I get from my brain up here. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.